Oh, what's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to Channel 99. We've got another Testimonies with Tim. Melody is going to be taking over a little bit for Parker. She has brought an awesome episode forth, and we will be challenging so many things. Talk about science, religion.
It's an eclectic episode.
Yeah.
So if you're cool with that, thanks for coming for the ride.
Totally. Well, I think the purpose of this is to question people's beliefs, make sure that people, look outside the box and they do believe what it is that they believe in. I think that's important.
Identify your constructs. And
yes.
Do you like it? Do you not like it? Why?
Totally. And we present a lot of those views here. So make sure that you subscribe, give us 5 stars, pass the episode along, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Yes.
Shut up and sit down.
I'm ready. Just hit start.
Okay.
Yeah, totally.
We're started then.
Everybody, thanks for tuning in to Channel 99. We've got Melody. She's back.
I'm back.
Testimonies with Tim.
Hey, guys.
What's going on? You are leading the Testimonies with Tim. You are going to be the kind of like the new co-host.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is exciting and cool because I fell in love with it the first episode and then basically just fell into my lap. It was offered and I was like, yes, thank you. I would love that.
Hell yeah.
It was great.
It's a great show. And everybody who's been on it has been amazing. So I have no reservations when it comes to transitioning from Parker to you.
Yeah.
When it comes to hosting. So
okay.
Yeah. No, you guys are awesome. Both y'all.
Cool.
I fucking love you both. You.
Awesome.
Excuse my language,
hey,
but we're on channel 9.
You are your own person. I do want to keep it like
PG-13.
Just like accessible for people. You know, I don't want anyone to feel like they can't listen to it because they're gonna hear something that disturbs them. But at the same time, I'm not trying to rein anyone in and say what can or cannot be said.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
so,
totally.
Speak how you want to speak, but yeah, like 80 to 90% of the time, basically PG-13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Like rated M, I guess, whatever.
Yeah. I'm just here to make sure that it sounds good.
Hey, yeah. That's fine.
You're here to make sure that everybody is fulfilled emotionally, spiritually.
Oh,
and
that's a high calling right there, man.
That's how I roll.
I hope you feel safe on Channel
Testimonies
99,
with
people. This is a safe place, people. All right.
Everybody is excited.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they wouldn't be listening to the show.
Right. I hope you are excited as a listener. I hope that you want to get involved. Either in your own community or with us and be a part of a conversation and just put it out in the world, like that's kind of what I'm hoping for, is to have a conversation with you, Tim, and also with you, listener. So let's talk. Let's get into it, I guess.
What do you have to bring to the table? Okay. What's going on right now?
So we talked about it a little bit, and I'm kind of just going to feel it out and see how the conversations go. So I've got some ideas. One of the ones that sounds interesting, but we'll have to feel it out if it's, a dead conversation or not. Does the existence of God matter? Does it matter? Like whether or not he exists? Is it advantageous to be oblivious to it or to know about it? So I guess that would kind of depend on what you think God's character is like. Ooh, I heard that. That little difference.
Yeah, let's change you up.
And then some other things, about truth and morals. Are morals fluid? Are they fixed? They originate from a particular source, or is it person to person? And some other things that let's just kind of see. So what do you think? Do you think that morals come from a set standard, or that each person has their standard?
I think each person has their standard.
They have their standard.
But there are people who are influenced by their superiors, such as their parents or others around them who may have an influence on them in a particular way. But in general, I do believe that an individual does reserve the right to believe what they want to believe.
That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely agree with that. That's for sure.
And it's true, because eventually most people who grow out of their familial surrounding, they do recognize that they do recognize the differences that they have.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they want to pursue those differences. And this is
I'm definitely a person that kind of pursued my differences with my family. That's definitely true for me.
Likewise.
Yeah.
And those individuals need a platform, and they're looking for something that is relatable.
Yeah.
That's why I have Testimonies with Tim.
Yeah, it's a great place for this. I love that. All right. So let's say, let's take some common American morals, because that's what I can speak to, right? I mean, I don't want to be too juvenile, but like, killing is bad. Forcing a person against their will is bad. And, other things like charity are good. They're perceived as good. They're considered to have moral attributes, right? They get words such as good and bad attached to them. So you think that like each person kind of assigns those words at will, that they're not necessarily fixed to it by an outside force at all? Or an outside, like, I guess, what would we call it? System?
Are you asking if I believe the majority of the people who listen to the show are influenced by something that
outside
may
of
or may
themselves?
not? Yeah. I think everybody is associated with or has some type of a connection to certain forces that may influence their view or their perception,
like molds that
on religion,
like
Christianity,
history, religion. These can also be your influencers in making those decisions and allocating your attributes, right?
Totally.
Okay, so that's cool. I definitely would agree that each person is free to decide that. But I definitely subscribe also to the opinion that it does have an originator, not necessarily like a God, although it was one of the factors that helped me decide to believe in God. Not the Christian God, but just the ability to believe in a God. That was one of the things that pushed me over the edge, was realizing if there is right and wrong. These ideas such as, I wrote down a little list. It's, there's natural evil, moral evil, and then there's this new thing I just found out called gratuitous evil, which sounds crazy. I still need to study. And then there's necessary evil, evil that comes about from trying to accomplish something, just something. You're reaching for an outcome, and then there are some things you got to do that you might not be proud of in your way.
Sure.
Moral evil is when a person decides to do something bad, forcing someone against their will. And then natural evil are like I've heard like different descriptions of natural evil, but we're just going to go with the idea of like natural disasters and sickness as an idea of natural evil. Things that are bad and get attributes that would be associated that way but we're not necessarily a choice.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So, oh man, gratuitous evil like really throws me off. Where was I? Sorry, I got lost.
Don't even remember.
Dude.
To be honest with you.
I knew this was going to get like excessively
A little
deep.
crazy.
A little bit crazy.
It
yeah.
can be.
Oh yeah, now I remember. So that idea that if there is right and wrong, if you can have natural evil, just like everyday occurrences, and they're assigned to like that type of character, then there must be something or someone that decides that, right?
Right.
That implements it into the world and makes it part of the world's function. So anyways, when I was studying philosophy back at university, that was one of the things that kind of opened my eyes a little bit, because I was pretty hardcore, like agnostic. I didn't think that we could perceive, I guess, how a creator would fashion the world, or how they would want it to be or not want it to be. Like, I figured it would be beyond us to understand. But if you can understand something like that, then you can understand that there is or isn't a creator, which kind of renders that door useless once you realize that there is enough understanding to come to at least a halfway conclusion. You might not be super solid, you might not have proof, but it's possible, so it kind of closes that door.
Totally.
Yeah. Anyways, so I want to talk about gratuitous evil just a smidgen, because I still have to figure it out. But I was listening to this philosopher from a university in Canada talking about it, and he was describing how another person had made this debate that the proof of gratuitous evil would mean that there isn't God. Now, I'm not quite sure how that works. Basically, how did they end up defining it? It was like evil that's just so crazy and beyond that there's no purpose to it at all. It wasn't trying to accomplish a greater good. It wasn't a decision. It's just this like radically evil thing that doesn't seem to have any point to it other than it's just evil. Something about how like that disproves God, which I don't know. I'm not sure if I agree with that. I don't know any other opinions on it. I just found out about it. But I just wanted to discuss, like, if you're a person that maybe doesn't even believe in the concept of good and bad and morals, how would you like to, like, how do you debate those things with a person like that? Or a person who thinks that truth is relative and not absolute? How are you setting your controls for discussion? And like, how can I relate to you? I would like to relate to you as a person. I know what it's like to kind of be that way, not to the fullest extent, but if you are of the fullest extent, you know, how are you out there living your life? What do you think of things? I guess. Like, I want to know. So if you're a person out there listening to this, I mean, feel free to write me. I'm sorry, Tim, that you're the one that deals with all the messages, and I'm calling people out to write you.
I appreciate all messages.
Oh, okay.
Anybody who wants to contact me.
Excellent.
Go for it.
Don't be a jerk, though.
I won't.
I'll be mean to you if you're a jerk. Just kidding. How would I even be mean to them? I don't know what being mean is.
So. You're pretty nice.
Never done anything mean ever.
Right. Ever.
I've never done a bad thing ever.
Never.
Which, if you listened to my testimony before, you might not believe, or at least be aware that I'm being sarcastic. So I don't know. It's kind of crazy. Do you believe in evil? Do you think it's real? Do you think do you believe in like one or all of these, like natural and moral and necessary evils?
Well, I believe, I mean, if you're asking me the question, I believe that evil and good are a construct.
Fair.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that.
And I believe that, yes, there is evil out there, but it's based on the construct of what evil is. And good is based on what society does believe is good. So yes, there's evil, but it's something that has been
taught, learned,
categorized, cultivated.
Okay.
Yes. And I think it's something
Gotcha.
that the only reason why it's evil is because it's been termed evil. I think there is there are certain types of evil out there that are actually kind of good. And and by that I mean
like something scandalous that's actually
well, it brings
nice
attention to certain things that may be translated into something good.
Okay.
So evil is evil, yes. But when you bring light to something that may be termed like evil based on our social construct, our social construct.
Yeah, there's a lot of consonants in this.
Yeah, those, that evil can be easily interpreted into something positive.
Okay.
So...
All right, so it's got some duality.
It does.
All right.
Yeah.
So kind of what I'm hearing is that you think evil is very much so something that's perceived.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And it's created. All right. Yeah.
That's cool. It's in the eye of the beholder.
Yes.
I think a lot of people are that way. And I think I'm probably at least a fair bit that way also. 'Cause I mean, how often do we see something and like one person thinks it's awesome and the other person thinks it's crap? So
a lot. Why
would good and evil be any different? You know, it's like, it's that dark and light. Is it purple? Is it gold? Is it what you make it to be? You know,
right.
Are they just names?
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's wild. That's cool though. I mean, I like that you think that way, because a lot of people tend to perceive so black and white when a lot of things are gray, you know?
Real talk, yeah.
Real talk.
Yeah.
A lot of things are gray.
Yeah,
and
a lot of things are gray.
I think that if your, you know, subscription to a, you know, a life motto or a creation story or something, the church that you go to, the theology that it is teaching you, if it paints it too black and white, I kind of feel like you're in a little bit of a danger zone of either A, not being able to relate to people, which, like, it's important to talk to people. No man's an island, right?
Totally.
No matter where you are, you can't survive alone, like 90% of the time. Unless you're cast away and you're just really freaking dope at survival. Right. In which case, like, good for you, man. You're doing great. Right. But yeah, you want to be able to relate to people. You want to be understood. And if you can't be understood, you're at risk at least of being perceived as foolish. So if you care to not be perceived as foolish, like, you got to find some middle ground, right? I always think that the truth is somewhere in the middle, which is why it's so hard to pin down. It's like, where do you find the middle then? You know, me and my mom were just talking about it. Like, when you're trying to figure out how to compromise or who's right and who's wrong, it's probably in the middle.
Totally.
Because that's just how it works, right?
Yeah.
No person is able to fully perceive a situation from just their eyes. Like, to get that 360, you need more than one set of eyes. So yeah, anyways, we can maybe discuss more of that another time if you
totally
if you
Let's
think it's worth looking into.
I
wanted to introduce the topic. It's kind of got some levels to it for sure, but just as an introduction, what do we all think about evil? Do we think it's out there? Is it not out there? How do you set your terms, you know, for what is and isn't? Especially if you're from somewhere else. Like, we're in America doing this, so perhaps you're somewhere else and you have completely different ideas of what good and evil means. Like, I'd be interested to know. I still currently want to study anthropology. I find it really interesting, and like I like knowing what's out there. So that would be cool. Yeah. That'd be wild. All right. Another idea maybe that's not so incredibly heavy. Where is it? So, okay, wait. Your background. You grew up here? Yeah?
I did.
You grew up born and raised?
Well, I was born and raised in Utah. I was born in Provo, Utah. Grew up there until I was about 10.
Okay.
And then I was raised in Boise.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah. That's cool.
So the majority of my background is definitely a Christian-based background, but my parents have been pretty offhands when it comes to my development.
Okay.
And they've allowed me to kind of find my own, and
that's nice.
And that's where I'm at right now. Otherwise, my parents wouldn't agree. Dude, my parents wouldn't agree with what I'm doing right now. No.
Hey, you're grown. You don't need mom and dad's approval to live your life.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
I'm 33. Yeah, and I consistently tell my parents, hey, I'm an adult. I'm an adult. I do what I want. But I appreciate your input.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can be respectful. You don't have to take it all in, but you can at least like let them know, like, it's cool that you have an opinion, but mine's different, Yeah.
Exactly.
We all have opinions, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
We all do. So like, do you find that people who grew up in church versus didn't grow up in church have different views on what freedom is, or even oppression?
100%.
Because like for me, growing up outside of a church, outside of a family that even cares if I'm involved in anything like that, their ideas of freedom, and I was talking to some friends about this that are of a similar situation, are so much different than a lot of the people that I've encountered through going to Capital Church and being involved in a faith community now. It's like freedom means something entirely different in those two arenas. So do you find that being told no to something that you want to do, is that a lack of freedom, or is that just, especially when it comes to sexuality? Like, if I tell anyone that, like, I'm abstaining, then their first response is, so what about when you have sex with yourself? Is that wrong? And my answer is, I don't know. Any pastor that I've asked is, I don't know. But, like, I think that stems from their idea of what they think freedom is a little bit. It's like, is God like telling me that I can't like feel pleasure outside of marriage? It's like this idea of, is God trying to hold me back from something? Am I being, capped, I guess, I think people outside of the faith would definitely feel it that way, because their first reaction is, how can I get away with it? Which I get it. Like, I did the same thing, and I'm in the faith. Like, how can I get around this rule? It's like, it feels oppressive. It feels closing. It's taking my freedom. So, like, why do we think that? Why do we think that freedom stems from just being able to do what we want? Is that what it really is?
I mean, that's freedom.
That's freedom?
That's freedom.
You think that that's what freedom is?
I think so, yeah. I mean, freedom is allowing us the opportunity to choose right from wrong.
Yeah.
And our interpretation of right from wrong is going to be derived from the way that we've been taught.
Yeah.
The way we've been raised. So for me, right and wrong is going to be more of a social construct.
Okay. All right.
Because cannibalism is considered right in certain cultures.
Yeah.
Where in America, you think about eating your best friend, and you're like, that's messed up.
Maybe not the best decision.
Right. But in other cultures, it's seen as survival. So it's in my opinion, it's all dependent on what is your situation.
Yeah.
Where are you going, where are you from, and what does society dictate when it comes to right and wrong.
Yeah. So
like if I'm told that something is right my entire life, up until a certain point, I'm going to believe that that is right.
Mm-hmm.
But if I were a part of another society that believed differently, and I was taught that the exact opposite is right, there's a little bit of conflict there.
Yeah, definitely. Right? I think about stuff like that all the time. What if I inverted everything and said that right was wrong and wrong is right? And that's definitely something that it used to keep me up at night. Like, I would spend long lapses of time trying to imagine a world where, killing is beneficial and, just making the world your oyster, hell or high water is actually, the appropriate thing to do. That would be the level-headed thing to do, right? And I think there are some people who maybe perceive the world that way. I don't know them, but I think they might be out there. And but like, isn't that so crazy? Like, so is freedom? Is it a feeling, or is it an actual thing? I kind of want to Google it. I'm like, is there a definition for it? Is there like or is it kind of that construct? Is it relative? Is it something that depends on your nationality or where you geologically come from in the world, the family you were born into? Like, is your freedom something, there's one, something that you're born into? Is your freedom something that you're born into? Like, not just based off of your nationality, what country you come from, but even the idea of like how you experience freedom. That's probably true, is that we all experience freedom differently. You don't choose where you come from, so
you don't, but I think freedom is defined by, in my opinion, freedom is defined by your opportunities.
Ooh.
And those of you who have freedom, you have opportunity to pursue happiness in multiple capacities, right?
Okay.
So freedom is defined in many ways. People in China believe they have freedom, right? But they don't.
Okay.
They're very much suppressed.
Okay.
They're a suppressed society. It's capitalism. It's not democracy. It's not a republic.
Okay.
And so those individuals do believe they have freedoms, but those freedoms are reserved in the rights of the Constitution in which they are afforded.
Okay.
And we are blessed.
We are.
You and I are blessed to be born and raised in the United States of America. And the United States of America were founded on the opportunities and the freedoms of both spiritual, religious, and many other types of
there's like crazy levels of freedom happening here.
We are afforded so many opportunities.
Yeah.
We are afforded so much freedoms. I don't own two businesses because we are not afforded that. I don't speak out and say F you. I don't post on Facebook and say F everybody else.
Yeah.
Because I've taken advantage of the freedoms that I do have, and F everyone else who tries to take advantage of me for taking advantage of those freedoms.
Mm-hmm.
We are founded on religious freedom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Literally, the United States of America was founded on religious freedom. God and everything that's associated with him.
Yeah. The ability to
her, whoever it is,
express or not express.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Before, we didn't have an opinion. We weren't afforded that, and we didn't have the opportunity to say, "This is what I believe." We were told
It's
what
decided
we believed.
for you.
Yeah, it's decided for you, and
Yeah.
so, so I think that like everybody here, as far as United States citizens, we're afforded the opportunity to believe what we want to believe.
Yeah.
Act upon that and pursue that, and that's why I love America.
Yeah, it's great being here. It really is.
Totally. Did I answer your question?
I don't know where we went with that, but I'm fine with it. I don't need to hear the sound of my voice the whole podcast. That is fine with me. And like I want it to be a discussion, so it's gonna be a little zany, maybe a little hard to follow. But honestly, I don't know if Testimonies with Tim like hasn't had as many episodes that aren't a little bit zany, and like
they're all zany.
I'm cool with that. Like
People
I think this is possibly the most prepared I've ever tried to be for a podcast. This is only my second one, so it doesn't really count. But you know, I know that Parker definitely probably
he's never prepared.
Ever brought
Homeboy
notes.
Homeboy just shows up and is like, "Hey, tell me your story."
Tell me your story. Yeah.
And it's a great story every
and it
time.
works.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love it. I like things that feel like a conversation. Because I'm not really like if I'm going to seek out someone's opinion on something, then I want it to be a credible opinion, you know? Like don't think that I'm trying to say that I'm a professor about any of this stuff. Like I just want to talk about it. I heard some other professor talk about it and I was like, "Ooh, wow, that sounds wild. Let's go."
Right.
Like that sounds like a thing that I would enjoy at least, if not expanding on, just kind of bouncing it off other people. Like, well, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? You know, I love hearing people that are different. Doesn't mean that we're going to get along all the time, but you know, like I'm interested in knowing.
But different is important.
Different is good.
The reason why I say that is because every time I meet somebody who's different is those individuals, they challenge.
Yeah.
They challenge me in a way that makes me reflect on why is it that I believe that? Why is it that I think that?
That's good. That's
good. And life is full of challenge.
Yeah.
Like life is supposed to be challenging, and
supposed to be challenging.
I believe if you were to bring the concept of we were sent here for a reason, this is our opportunity to choose right from wrong, right?
Okay.
We have to be challenged, and that is
interesting.
Right? And that's the difference between right and wrong. And again, right and wrong is a social construct. If I flip you off in one place, or if I throw the A-OK sign, that could be you're awesome, or it could be
you are not
white
so
supremacist,
awesome.
right? And it depends on the news source, and it depends on the people who believe what it is that they believe to interpret that.
Yeah, the giver, the receiver, intention,
Yeah.
reception, like, yeah, the
Totally.
perceived world. Yeah, that's wild.
Everything's left to interpretation, and the most important thing for me is understanding that that everything is left to interpretation, which is why I don't ever look at somebody and say, "Hey, you're right or you're wrong." No, maybe your background influenced you to make a decision as to whether or not you should agree or disagree with that particular opinion.
And that's so healthy. To just let people be who they are.
It is.
It's
so
super
much less
healthy.
Stressful. It's less
too.
stressful.
Like, oh my gosh.
You don't
just
have
stop
to drink.
concerning yourself to be like the hero of the world who's going to coddle everyone into having the right understanding of it. You know?
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
that ain't your job.
Exactly.
Just calm down.
Yeah. And Christianity as a whole, when you define it, is you and correct me if I'm wrong, but Christianity as a whole is the belief that there is a savior who's out there, who has died for your sins, who has recognized that this life is going to be sinful, and you are going to sin, and there is repentance for it. And many religions are going to recognize repentance. Regardless of whether or not they're going to accept repentance.
Lots of different worldviews.
And
recognize that there is a right and a wrong, and guilt, and things like that.
And the way that these religions are going to afford you an opportunity to repent for those sins and
to make right,
and the process in which you repent for those sins, regardless.
Processes. I never thought.
Yeah,
about those.
There's so many processes.
The processes of repentance.
Oh my God!
It feels like, even as a person
Shame.
who tries to repent, like it does feel quite like a vapor of a content to try to get your hands around. It's like, what am I actually working with here? Is there a 10-step process? Am I feeling it out? Is it based upon who I am as a person and those, things that I've picked up along the way?
But should there be process?
I don't know.
I'm 33 years old.
I
think I know what is right and what's wrong.
Okay.
And when somebody tells me, oh, well, you're not doing right, you're not doing wrong, and you have to throw fucking 20 excuse me.
I want to hear you get fired up about it.
Yeah. You have to
go.
throw 20 Hail Marys and do all kinds of weird shit, right?
Like some of the people that say, like there's a number, there's a
get the fuck out of
action.
Here. No.
Otherwise you can't.
Listen.
You're not gonna be all right, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm gonna be real. As far as my interpretation goes, I don't want to offend you. I don't want to offend you. There's no real one God.
Okay.
I don't believe there's one real God. I do believe we are.
Like,
good.
I mean, I can have my God and believe in it for you. Also, like, I don't think that my God only rules over me, right? If I'm a person that believes in it. But that doesn't mean that I'm mad that you have your own thing going. Like, I do believe in a God that wants me to help teach that they're the right God. And it took me a long time of wandering around in different religions to get to there. But I'm not upset that you have your own opinion, and that maybe a lot of people are a little bit more new agey, where they're finding their beliefs in many places, and I'm happy that people want to be involved, because my family, for the most part, doesn't even want to be involved.
Yeah.
So I'm pleased that a person just wants to be a part of the conversation and talk civilly about it. I mean, I don't want to get yelled at, and I don't want to yell at anyone else, but
and there's no reason to yell at people.
Yeah, I want civil conversation. I want to think about it,
People want to have some type of closure. They want to know what happens after death.
Yeah.
I truly believe, and for the majority of my life, I've always believed that religion provides some type of closure. Like,
Okay.
hey, when I die, like, I'm going to see my loved ones, or I'm going
Yeah.
to, like, there's a reason
Yeah.
why I can die.
Okay.
That's literally
There's a reason
what
why I lived. There's going to be a reason why I die.
Exactly.
All right.
My true feeling is...
In your heart of hearts.
In my heart of hearts.
Okay.
And anybody can message me on this, and I've had 0 messages.
Ooh.
When it comes to this, because I've entertained many different
Theology, options. You're exploring
all
your
kinds
options.
of stuff. Yeah. In my heart of hearts, I do believe we are a science experiment. Like, I believe we are on a petri dish.
Brains in a vat.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We are bacteria on a planet.
Bacteria.
And we are being grown, and we are being cultivated. And
For what? You don't know?
I have no idea.
Do you have any speculations?
No.
All right. You feel
I
like
believe
an
we're being
experiment.
watched.
Okay.
And I don't think this is and let me start from the beginning. I believe in science.
I do too.
Today, they said that there was a horse, and there's
A horse? Like hooves?
Well, yeah, like a horse.
Okay. I
So
just want to make sure I heard you right.
I'm gonna negate my total belief on anything outside of religion. But today I got a news update on Yahoo News that they were able to cultivate liquid blood from a horse that's been considered extinct for tens of thousands of years. And they were able to extract liquid blood from a horse that was frozen like 20,000 years ago. 20,000. Everybody's watching this. Look at my fucking camera. Excuse my language. 20,000 years ago, right? I do not believe that we are able to extract, and this is one thing, we're not able to extract liquid blood and clone something from 20,000 years ago, let alone get to the moon, if they say we went to the moon.
Yeah.
On a TI-32 calculator, something I used in first grade for plus, subtraction, minus, division, multiplication. We were supposed to go to the moon in the 60s on a TI-32 calculator, but we can't go back for another 10 years.
Okay.
Since we went to the moon, our technological advances, the ability to clone a sheep, the ability to do so many different... Yeah, it's insane. So when I look at the Bible... and I read and I interpret it in the way that I view real life. Yeah. God made Eve from the rib of Adam. Okay. That is cloning. Homeboy literally took stem cells.
Jesus, you homeboy.
Homeboy literally took stem cells. And he was like, yo, I'm going to create something that you can bang and create more of you. And
we're gonna make lots of you.
And Adam was like, "Yeah, dude, let's do
down.
it. Yeah,
whatever you're about, I'm about.
Anything I don't have to use my arms with, right? Yes." Okay. And when it comes to science, you don't weigh your fingers. You don't click your fingers, and there's a female. I think in scientific terms, I think real life, and it's not that I negate religion in itself, but I truly believe that religion is, bottom line, very, very, very bottom line, at its very minimal point,
base structure.
Yes. Religion is is comfort.
Oh yeah, so many people feel
because
that way.
Because people look for...
Even people in a religion, I think, have to struggle with, and if you're not struggling with it, like, go you. But struggle with the idea of, do I believe in this God just so that I feel good about what happens to me when I die?
Or is it what they do just because they only know what to follow, and that's all they truly believe?
And like, I was thinking about this question was posed to me through a podcast that Ravi Zacharias puts on. But why do people come to believe in God more, either like believe in him more or come to believe in him at all? Excuse me, don't want to be sexist. Why does that happen more with age? Is it the approaching death? Is it the culmination of life experiences and knowledge? Which one do you listen to? Is it both?
Ooh, I like that.
Because I question that a lot. And I mean, I wish that I had someone, I guess, old to ask. Like, do you believe? Do you not believe? Why do you think what you think?
They don't have the answers.
Nah.
Let me explain this to you. They don't have the answers because they do not pursue answers. And it's not and it's not because they do not pursue answers, because they are they don't have the resources. Let's be real. Everybody has Google.
That's true.
Everybody. You go to a public library, it's free. Go to Google.
I love the library. I was in a library earlier today, and it was marvelous.
Totally. And everybody has access to free education.
At least here.
At least here in America. The United States of America. The problem is the lack of...
desire, willingness.
Yeah.
Receptiveness.
Totally.
To whatever information they drum up, I guess.
And a lot of times it's fear. Most people fear
preach.
what they don't. So you've been told something your entire life. Let me give you an example. I was raised LDS,
which I know quite a bit about through friends, but I'm not super versed in. Just FYI, I don't know everything about LDS.
Totally
so
fine.
It's going to be new.
That's totally fine.
Okay.
And I won't. I'm not going to get into the LDS religion. It's a cult, just like
I've heard
many
a lot of
religions.
people describe it that way. Yeah.
Yeah. If you were to break down the definition of cult, and then you were to apply that to the majority of religions,
copy paste.
Yep. For the most part, a lot of religions, they fall in line with the definition of a cult.
Yeah.
And
that is something that I wanted to talk about. So the reason why I chose the church that I'm at, that is a religion, because it's an organized practice of a belief. I chose it because I like the theology there. And I'm still learning the theology. I don't know everything yet, but from what I've seen, it seems to be sound, which theology looks at God, and religion really looks at the people, right? So you have to be careful, like, are you basing your ideas of God off of a religion, which stems actually from people, or are you basing it off of a theology, something that's looking to a higher power or lack thereof? You know, it's a fine line too, when you're not sure
it is
what all that stuff means.
It is. And we have to remember that the Bible in itself, it was created and it was put together by the Catholic Church.
The canonized Bible was put together.
The canonization of the Bible, most people don't understand that
what you read today was put together.
There are so many books. There are so many books. Book of Mary, the book of
lost literature.
There's
things that just didn't make the cut.
And by doesn't make the cut means the Catholic Church
decided
thought,
what made the cut.
Yeah, yes. The Catholic Church was like, we don't want them to know about aliens.
So if you don't have faith in, the Catholic Church, faith
people don't think Jesus was married.
Good intentions of
people,
what
Yes.
People don't think Jesus is married.
People don't know Jesus. Jesus was married. Jesus was married straight up. Mary was a whore. Let's be real. She was a slut.
Yeah, my mom.
Homegirl was
read
around,
a book
whoring
or
around.
something about that idea of Mary might have been a prostitute.
She's a whore
and everything.
She is, and that's why the Catholic Church is like, we don't want this around because Jesus was smashing Mary. And
where did you I guess come to believe that?
Everything outside of the canonization.
So
she really was a prostitute.
Took out the middle and you observed the surrounding, and you came to the conclusion that Mary was
she was a whore.
Not
straight
a virgin.
Up. She was a whore. She was a whore. And I'm not saying that anything's negative about that.
This might be the most passionate I think I've heard you on a podcast.
Maybe
yet.
Most of the time I produce shows and I'm quiet, but you and I are one-on-one, and I'm hosting this, and so
I asked for it.
Yeah, and
I wanted to hear you.
And I do believe that people, deserve some type of an opinion that's going to question whatever their beliefs might be, regardless of whether people believe me or they agree with me.
Okay, that challenge.
I mean, it's insane. The things that have been kept from us, the things that have been reserved.
Ooh, there's a topic that I actually wrote down too.
Know.
Do you feel like there's a velvet rope around the truth?
100%.
I mean, in not just in religious, I guess, fields, but in general, the secular society, science even, is there that velvet rope hiding what is what it really is, I guess.
We don't know. Yes.
People aren't keeping it real.
We don't know what we don't know. We only know what we're told.
Are you a hardcore skeptic?
I'm not a skeptic.
Okay. I was just curious because I was a skeptic and I had similar thoughts.
But a skeptic is somebody who it's got a negative connotation. Somebody who's a skeptic is somebody who's like, I don't believe anything I'm told. No.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't believe anything I'm told. I question. I question.
See, that's what I think is the true heart of what I think a skeptic is. Is someone who is always questioning, which I don't know if I'm not still a skeptic.
You have to be. In my opinion, nowadays, and we are
with so much information.
100 years from now, 100 years from now, 10 years from now, I watch documentaries from 10 years ago, and I'm like, you're effing retarded.
You're crazy.
You have no idea where you're coming from.
Yeah.
10 years from now, I'll probably question everything that I'm saying right now. But
the world moves fast.
As of right now, we only know what we know, and we only know what we've been told.
Working with what we know, that's for sure.
Exactly. Yeah. And science, religion, everything, in my opinion, is a construct, and it's a way that people can manipulate you, and it's a way that people can control the way that you live.
Okay.
Religion is it's an untaxed corporation. Look at the Catholic
with different branding.
Church. Yeah, look at the Mormon Church. Look at the Catholic Church. Look at religion in general.
Yeah.
These religions are untaxed. They are able to influence people to donate, to contribute and to
pledge their life to,
and pledge their
death to,
and their death.
They want it all.
Yeah, to making sure that they make it to that highest level of heaven, to make sure that they are with God.
Highest level of heaven. That's definitely that's an LDS thing, right? I hear that they don't like to be called that anymore. Sorry, but it's just such a mouthful.
LDS is better than Mormon.
Yeah.
Latter-day Saint is.
I read an article that they declare no.
Call us Latter-day Saints. Don't call us Mormons. Call us Latter-day Saints.
Yeah, like they don't want to be abbreviated anymore. So I'm sorry, I'm not super PC. I'm not super PC about much of anything, because I think people are just really sensitive and. Maybe
this is Channel 99.
Need to grow up a little bit.
A lot of bit.
Yeah. I can't get offended by everything, and if you get offended by everything, I'm sorry.
Then don't listen to my show.
Feelings.
Don't listen to my shows.
But ultimately, you kind of asked for it by clicking on this, and I'm not going to apologize for who I am and take it all back just because you don't agree with it. If I did everything that way, if anyone in this world lived their whole life that way, we would think that they're insane. They can't make a decision. They can't keep one thing in their hand for longer than like 2 seconds because it's hurting or it's offending someone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm sorry that I'm not concerned.
Don't be sorry. There's no sorry. Hey, listen, this is Testimonies with Tim on Channel 99.
You have permission.
If you are offended, contact me and tell me whatever offense it is that we made.
Yeah.
But my purpose for this show is to bring people like you on, to allow you and your guests to vocalize and to interpret your beliefs in a way that might be beneficial to somebody who is looking for some type of closure or some type of pertinence to their life.
Yeah.
And there's nothing to be sorry for. I do not ever apologize for the way that I feel. Why? Because let me bring it back to God created Eve out of the rib of Adam. That is science. Explain to me how Homeboy took the rib from Adam and created a woman. That is, if you want to break it down, that is science. They took I
think God and science
took a rib.
Are like best friends.
They are.
I totally think
it's because he's an alien.
God created science.
Listen.
You think God's an alien? Oh, shoot, dude.
He's not from this planet, right? He did not grow up here. If you think about it.
I think,
he's not from planet Earth.
If you really, think exactly what an alien... that alien doesn't necessarily mean from another planet where other beings are also.
Where this planet was created by God.
Which, if he's not from here, then that would make him extra to the terrestrial.
Extraterrestrial.
Right?
How did he create a female out of a man?
Yeah.
It is genetic manipulation. They took a stem cell, they created another human being, and he was like, hey man, excuse my language, but now you got something to fuck. And now you can have some fun.
I think it was probably more
Just
than that.
Just don't tell everybody about it.
Probably
and
more than that.
Tell her not to eat an apple. That's about it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody who can explain anything different. I mean, that's
I think
science.
I know maybe a couple people, but that might have a different understanding of it. But I don't feel confident enough in that to try to explain it for them, and I don't really want to explain it for them. I'd rather just invite them on.
Yeah, and you should bring them on, and
bring it on. Bring on the tops. Bring on the people.
Yeah, and have them talk about that because
I really want to get more people that have their own understanding of how the world works. That's different from even us in our upbringing, to just come on and just relay it to me. What are you about? Why are you about that? Tell me your story.
And it's important that people are challenged.
Yeah.
It's important that people question why.
Well, in truth,
and that solidifies that solidifies somebody's belief, or it dissolves that belief.
That's true.
And I think it's important, especially as adults, people who have an opportunity to pursue those types of things, whether it's spiritual, whether it's social. And we can even get to that on another episode. I do believe a lot of religion has to do with individuals who are seeking not necessarily, a spiritual. They're not necessarily seeking a spiritual experience, but they just want to belong. There's a lot of people who want to be a part of something, and I do believe that religion it cultivates a belonging and harbors that. And
it does,
and it exploits it in a way where tithe. It exploits it
when
in
you
tithe.
believe in sin, and when you believe in at least the theology that I do. Exploitation is not unavoidable, but it's quite likely, because we're people, because we're not perfect. We want what we want, and we want it now, right? So how can I get that? Well, I pool resources, and I use my influence, and I use basically anything or anyone around me to make that thing happen. And it's probably going to be for me, not for someone else, right? Yeah. That would be an exploitation. But, that doesn't mean that everything is. And that doesn't mean that that going after what you want is inherently wrong. There are plenty of good things to go after.
Totally.
And right ways to do it.
And I'm not saying religion is bad.
No.
Religion's not bad.
It's just organized.
Yes, and let me explain that. Religion allows an individual to feel as if they are part of something bigger than who they are, than what they are, and they have some type of closure for when they die, and the people around them for when they die, and it gives them a path for understanding.
Yeah.
But I do believe that religion in itself is a construct, and I do believe it's a corporation. They're untaxed. If you look at the major religions, you are almost required. Being LDS, I can talk shit about this. And I'm not talking shit on the LDS religion, because the LDS religion is not the only faith which requires a penance. But and a penance means
I was about to ask. I was like, I feel like I should know this really churchy word right now, and I don't.
Well, a penance is a tax.
Okay.
It's like a layman's word for tax. It's a layman words for tax.
Okay.
So if you owe a penance, it means that you owe cash flow.
Okay.
And
to the
religions, religions are going to classify that as a tithe.
Okay.
So you owe a 10% penance. I should probably look that word up, make sure I'm saying it right.
My goodness, Tim.
I should know that, considering
I came with all these notes.
I know.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with you.
How
were you supposed to prepare for this if I didn't share any of it with you?
I went to a psychiatrist.
Which I probably should have done.
I went to a psychiatrist not too long ago, and they're like, "How much school do you have?" And I didn't go to a psychiatrist on my own free will. I got paid.
Crazy.
I got paid money to go to a psychiatrist, and this is going to be on other episodes, and so those of you who do follow me, you'll understand why I went to a psychiatrist. But I get paid like $200. Basically, I get paid a lot of money to go to a psychiatrist just to tell them who I am.
Yeah, talk to them.
And because I'm part of a systematic problem, and I'm part of that solution. So,
all right.
But
thanks for being part of the solution, I guess.
I'm part of.
Maybe?
I'm part of making sure that humanity. I'm part of a process.
Long game.
I'm part of a process to make sure that humanity continues. That humanity continues to be prosperous, and that they're educated, and they have low diseases. Does that make sense? I'm a sperm donor. Yeah,
cream of the crop
I'm
here.
Getting paid. Yeah, I'm getting paid to jerk off in a cup,
which sounds like
and
a fun job.
Yeah, I'm required to go through certain processes and procedures to make sure that I'm an adequate donor.
Yeah.
Not because I want to be, but because I was sought out because of my background and what I can offer to humanity and to local families, and
which
that's the case. But
cool.
Yeah,
I'm for it.
I'm definitely not. I'm not shy. I just don't think that this is the platform as far as testimonies. I'm just not. I don't think testimonies with Tim is appropriate for it. But
yeah,
if you were to relate it to religion, yes, I do believe that like my offspring do deserve to have a life granted by God, to have a spirit, to allow those spirits to have a physical body, to be able to distinguish right from wrong, to be able to be prosperous in life, and
agency.
Yes, and if we were to connect that to testimonies with Tim, my offsprings will now. Those spirits in general will be able to have the opportunity to fulfill whatever destiny it is that they have, to have that physical body, to be able to make those decisions, and to be able to pass that along, regardless of whether or not I decide that it is their decision, because that is what we are granted here
you grant
on this
them
planet Earth.
Religious freedom and spiritual agencies, all of those things.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. That's cool. I definitely think that this episode like just touched on so many things, broad topics that have obviously many rabbit trails to be explored.
Totally.
Long ones. And I'm curious to know what does the world say about these things? Like,
doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. But does it? I think
no.
But okay, maybe not what they say matters, but I think having a conversation matters.
Yes.
I think because getting that challenge. Oh man, I didn't write it down, but I was listening to something that says if you can't essentially have your truth, whatever you're choosing to believe in, it could be anything. It'd be like the color yellow, whatever. It's like if you can't have that be challenged and basically like withstand the challenge, then it's probably not true.
If you're colorblind though, and you can't see the color yellow,
okay,
you can
maybe
argue.
The color yellow isn't the best
I'm just saying.
Example.
I'm just saying. Everybody has a challenge.
Yeah.
Not everybody is going to see eye to eye, and that's going to be derived from the way they were raised, the social and the moral views in which they were exposed to, the way they interpret those things. So right and wrong, it's such a general interpretation. When somebody tells me right from wrong, it's like if I were to have promiscuous sex, is it right and wrong? Well, yes, it may be wrong according to certain Bibles, but if I were to sleep around with women, maybe I'm a therapist. Maybe those women are like on their last straw. Maybe they were holding a gun to their head and they're like, hey, nobody loves me. Nobody wants to be with me. Nobody wants to be a part of my life.
Yeah.
This is the last straw. And then they message me and say, hey, Tim, let's hang out. Like, I have nothing else to do. I'll hang out. I go buy them a drink, and then I am part of their life in some capacity. To to me, I believe that right and wrong are a social construct. Yes,
Yeah, definitely.
there are general things, murder, your commandments, like don't go around and murder people.
Yeah,
Don't do all these things, right?
What about a less subjective thing, like
social construct?
No, like things that are within science. If you can't, I mean, especially in philosophical debates, they're difficult to test. Thought experiments are hard to test because, I mean, you can't just like put your hands around it and shake it and see what happens.
You're exactly right.
It's like it's beyond that, I guess, empirical testing, unless you can really, set it up to be able to foster that. Which there are people who do it. It's a science. If you didn't know that philosophy is a science, it is. And I made that executive decision that it's a science, but I'm pretty sure I'm right.
No, you are.
And like, so how would you test something that is so incredibly
small,
but ultimately large? Like, I mean, think about
you take a sample.
Physics has crazy things that
physics is proven.
Literally,
but
can prove
I do
itself
not believe
to be
in physics.
Oh, you don't believe in physics?
I do not believe in physics.
This might be our first fight.
Why? Yeah. Let's talk about UFOs. They defy the law of physics. They literally defy.
You have to believe in a
UFO
in order to say that, though.
Totally. Or a USO, unidentified submerged object.
I find those more creepy, honestly, than UFOs. I don't know why, but
again, it comes down to what have we been told and what do we know. We do not know what is physics, because the majority of the entire population can't even understand the basis, just the foundational construct of physics, as in
physics takes faith.
Yeah, whatever force is going forward is going to come back, right? What is that, right? Yeah. Like physics in general, they are boundaries, but we are starting to know, and we are starting to understand that the laws of physics are slowly disintegrating. Think about this. When you take I'm trying to break this down in my head to people who don't have any understanding of this.
All right.
Radio waves.
Okay.
Sound waves are actually anti-gravitational, period. They are a negative wavelength. So when you take gravity, there's two types of gravity lengths according to science. You have a short and long wavelength. So your short wavelength is what keeps you and I grounded to planet Earth. Long wavelengths are what keeps the moon going around the Earth.
Okay.
I believe that the moon is not natural. I believe the moon is fake, and
the moon's fake.
I can go on. and go on.
That?
Yeah,
Damn.
You have no idea. Everybody listening to this right now, go to Channel 99. Listen to a couple conspiracy theories.
I love conspiracy theories. Can we all just round of applause for that whole genre of just I love that kind of stuff. Even if I don't believe in
reality.
I just find it so interesting. I love it.
Yeah.
Questioning reality, exploring even just other people's ideas. I love it. And I mean, as a Christian person, I still kind of grapple with a lot of these unexplained things, and even just things that we cannot currently answer. So do I shut it down or do I not shut it down?
No.
Apparently
Pursue it.
am in a one world theology. I still haven't made up my mind about all that. I'm undecided on aliens. I don't know. What? Oh.
Is that me?
It's gotta be you. It's not me.
Where's my phone at?
I have no idea.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, it's Parker.
No way.
Jesus Christ, Parker.
Answer.
Should I?
Answer
Well,
him.
no, I turned him off. I'll answer him later.
No.
No.
He didn't call me. He must have
He
thought
was
that we were
probably-
done already.
Yeah, he probably did.
Oh my God! Oh my God! It's 8:44.
I know. I didn't even think about that. Let me turn my phone off. But we'll wrap up in like 10 minutes. We've only been going for like an hour and 15. So,
Okay.
30
to 45 minute podcast.
But
it's
like,
just as
I know. Yeah, I was like, 30 minutes. Yeah, we'll be good in 30 minutes. But as far as like, as far as that goes, like, again, we really don't know anything.
Yeah.
Except what we're told, and
All right.
and as far as physics go, they're slowly figuring out that there are certain things that defy physics. If you were to look at, and going back
Physics,
to what I was saying,
it
sound
kind of
waves.
undoes itself while
It does.
it's like watching a braid that's like it's putting itself together and taking itself apart at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Well, and again, in sound waves, if you were to Google just sound waves, they are or radio waves. I'm sorry. Radio waves are anti-gravitational, meaning that if you know how to harness those, direct them, and control them, you are able to do things that are against
you can counteract gravity.
the laws of physics.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. And
the term law is problematic.
yes. Yeah. And there are laws of physics that people just don't understand. I don't understand them.
So many of us don't understand.
But I've had people on the show, and I've done my research to where there are things that definitely defy what we have been told.
Yeah.
And those things I have yet to find an answer for.
Yeah.
And individuals who might have an answer for those, you're more than welcome to come on my show and explain those to me.
I want to hear you.
But chances are pretty good you don't. And the only reason why is because these are literally, it's legitimate. Like, radio waves, if you can control them, they will do the things, and you will be able to do certain things that defy laws of physics, and those are
Such
what
as
we see.
like a levitation or like teleportation.
Well, I don't want to
guess-
get too off track.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we're already off the track, so
I know.
I might as well finish it.
But our government recently came out with the black budget top line, what they have been spending money on, and it would definitely challenge people's beliefs. We're talking multi-dimensional stargates.
Ooh.
We're talking about time travel. We're talking about
I guess I'm
so many things.
a bit
It's
of
insane.
I'm an odd person, even within my community, my religion, and even outside of religion. I think that I have some pretty strange, not even so much opinions, but things that I'm okay with. Does that make sense? I don't put too many holds on what the truth can be. Like I previously mentioned, I used to be agnostic. That starts with an A, not an E, just so that you're all aware. I didn't think that the ultimate truth could be perceived, so I didn't really concern myself with it. It's like, I mean, I'll throw an egg in this basket and in that basket and the other, because I think ultimately, until it is revealed to you in a way that is just astronomically undeniable, completely undeniable, there's no reason to like so freaking like radically just like, this is the truth,
Right.
this is what I believe. It's like, you don't know that. You don't have a PhD in that. Even if you did have a PhD in that, most people would recognize that what we know is only based upon to the degree that we can prove what we know.
Yes.
You can only, like, if you can only prove something up to the 99th percent of a degree of truth, you don't understand. Like, if a single degree is the expanse of a universe, you could have an entire universe between you and the truth, even in that 1%. There's so much room for error, for new possibilities. So don't put a cage on it. Knowledge is a bit slippery. It's hard to pin down. And
you only know what you know.
You only know what you know. And the only way to find out what you don't know is to go looking for it.
Yes.
So don't put yourself in a box. Don't, just be willing to learn. Not that that means that you have to go out and experience it if it conflicts your beliefs, if it makes you feel uncomfortable. Nobody is saying that, like, it's 100% necessary to live a good life or to not be an idiot. But, if you're wanting the truth, you got to be open to it.
Yes.
Totally.
And the truth is only going to be defined by what it is that you are pursuing.
Yeah.
And the things that you want to be true.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter And the only reason I say that
true.
is because a lot of people seek religion because they want something. They want
totally
closure.
Agree.
They want that truth. But
when you understand, that's not what truth is. Truth isn't what you want it to be. Truth is itself, and you have to want it.
Totally.
Does that make
100%? No, you make sense. No, you make sense.
But the truth will set you free, right?
Pursue the truth that it is. Pursue the truth that is what you desire, that makes you happy, that is something that you can form a foundation in, that you can pursue, that makes you happy and gives you closure at the end of the day. But
you gave your best effort.
Yes.
I really gave it my all. I wanted to know whether or not aliens exist. So I stood out in a cornfield for 18 hours. I don't know. I'm just making it up.
Waiting for some type of a corn.
Staring at the sky.
Yeah. Waiting for some kind of, what do you call that? What do they call that? The little field
circle?
Crop circles. Yeah. You can be waiting around for crop circles.
I always thought that would be a really fun prank to go out and make crop circles.
Good luck. I've watched.
Yeah, is it hard?
Not easy.
Wow.
Not easy.
Hey, it works better with friends.
I believe that certain crop circles were not created by human, and this is more for those of you who are interested in my Channel 99 conspiracy theory shows. But I do believe if people don't believe in extraterrestrial life, I do believe in an intraterrestrial life, and I do believe that there's something here on Earth that is not necessarily on the earth but inside the earth that may have an influence. I could go into depth on that, but I'm not going to until a later show.
We'll save it.
Yeah, it's very interesting. But
I would love to kind of do a melding of the minds on a number of topics. I want this to be a place that a person who isn't of a particular faith subscription to, where you're going after life or how you think life should be lived. I want everybody to feel like they can belong and be involved and have an understanding and a stake in what we're talking about.
Totally.
So if you were looking for, a strictly faith podcast, sorry, I am taking it that direction. I do believe in Jesus. I want this to help people come to Jesus. That's my MO. Gonna be plain about that. But I also am aware that there's a lot more out there, and I like the truth. I want to know the truth. Just because that's what I think, I know that I'm not the only opinion that matters, and I'm not the only opinion that should be heard. So, it's cool.
I think people want that. And I think people want some type of realistic viewpoint when it comes to what it is they're seeking. People don't want to be influenced. People do not want to be sold.
No.
People want to buy into something, and I think it's important that that Testimonies with Tim allows those people an opportunity to view both sides of things, which is science, me, religion, you, and to find a breaking ground.
Just to be clear, I'm not here to beat anyone with the Bible.
Well,
I love science.
Science
so
and religion are they're very much in the same, but the way that people interpret them are very different.
There's a lot of articles out that say that science and religion like inherently don't get along, which
is BS.
Particularly agree with, but I'd be curious to get to know why a person feels that way.
They're one and the same.
Well,
again, Eve was created from the rib of Adam. That shit is science. So whatever.
Yeah.
You want to fight me on that?
Is science supernatural or is the supernatural science? We shall never know.
We don't know because
I don't make up those rules. That's for sure.
I don't either. And unless somebody can come forward and present me viable information or evidence to persuade me one way or the other, I'm going to keep doing this show because it's people like you, Melanie, who provide us the information and the entertainment to tickle our brains and to question our beliefs and to look outside the box and recognize whether or not it is a divine intervention or we are just a bunch of bacteria
going through the motions
on a giant globe
spherical petri dish
or a flat disc or a donut disc.
Dude,
don't even
one
get me
flat
started.
earther that I met at a restaurant. He was my server. Man, I want to talk to that guy again because it's the most one of the most reasonable as I can allow it to be, in my personal opinion, like flat earth perspectives that I've heard, because there are so many people.
But do we know the earth is flat? Do we know the earth is round? Have you been out? Have you been in space?
Dude, I'm a skeptic too. I'm right.
Nobody's been in space.
I have no reason
like
to say
20 people.
I have no reason to say that it isn't flat. I can't like fit my arms around the earth and tell you that it must be round because it's touching on, all sides type of thing. But at the same time, based off of what I know, based off of the science that I've looked into and what I think, I do think that the earth is round. I'm just going to say it. Come for me, flat earthers. Yeah. I think the earth is round. And I do think that the moon is real. Sorry, Tim.
I do believe it's. I do believe it's real. But
it's real. You don't think that we went there? Is that what you mean? Maybe I misunderstood you earlier.
Many things.
All right.
And this is another
is the moon
show.
Flat?
I do. I don't believe. Okay. I believe that the moon is a satellite. If you look at it, it does not actually exhibit the laws of physics. It does not go in circles. We have a continuous dark side of the moon.
That does fascinate me.
Yeah. There's so many things that would make me question.
Big Brother is watching me from the moon. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah. Think about it.
My uncle loves that kind of stuff.
Since the 60s, how many times have we been to the moon? We went to the moon on a TI-32 calculator, which gives us what? Plus, minus, subtraction, addition, division, multiplication. TI-32. But we can't go to the moon now. It's going to take us till like 2024 for the United States to go back to the moon. Granted, we don't have the funding, but Nikola Tesla had plans to go to Mars, and the Germans had plans to go to the Mars. The Germans had plans to go to Mars. Like, there's a lot of weird things that people don't understand. They don't look into. They don't know. Only because it is suppressed information.
That velvet rope.
Actually, you have to go out to search it. And I don't believe that we are being told everything that is true. And so for that, I give the legitimacy of both religion, science, and nationality a score of maybe a 1 out of 10 because...
For validity or for like your personal like?
They're fucking with us.
Whether you think it's good.
No, it's all lies.
All right.
It's all suppression.
All right.
There's so many things out there that we don't know, and they know that we are a creature of habit, and we are a creature that the majority of us are going to just believe whatever it is we're told to make us feel good. But there's a lot of stuff out there that doesn't make sense, and there's a lot of stuff out
that's
there.
True.
There's a lot of stuff out there that we're not told about, and I don't believe it. And so I provide a platform to people.
Okay.
For people to come on and say, "Hey, F this, F that."
Yeah.
Religion, science, whatever it might be, tickle your brain.
Yeah, I
challenge yourself.
I love pushing the envelope.
Think outside the box.
Getting outside of myself, getting outside of what has been ingrained into me. That thing about being a creature of habit, that's always just irked me. I'm like, man, I don't want to be a creature of habit. Like, so many years of my life, I purposely just went against forming routines until it was really destructive and I couldn't get anything done. Right. And I realized that I have to, submit to some routines. But, like, and maybe it's just I don't like to be called a creature. I don't know. But just because something is ingrained into you doesn't mean it's the only grain that you can be in,
Totally.
So
that's why we have our free will.
Yeah.
That's why we have.
So good.
That's why we're allowed that that choice.
Yeah.
From right and wrong. And,
yeah,
and
I
right
think
and
that,
wrong are going to be.
Yeah, God gives us a choice. I think, for me, that's one of the proofs that God is good, is to have that freedom. I think freedom is inherently good, and that's one of the reasons why it's so desirable, is because it's good. I think when you look at a lot of people, in their heart of hearts, they want good things. They just don't always understand what that looks like, because, you live in a world that's tainted by all these different beliefs and cultures, and so much freaking time that has gone by to create what you ended up growing up in, because you didn't come into the world Adam and Eve style and be the first of your kind.
Right.
You came after many before you.
Yeah.
So
I love it. Everybody, thanks for tuning in to Channel 99.
Yeah. I do want to say a prayer. I want to say a prayer, actually, just real quick, because it is a faith podcast.
Well, let's close it out with a prayer. Make sure to subscribe, give us 5 stars, pass the episode along, and we'll have Melody give us a little prayer.
Yes, a nice little post-brain tickle prayer.
Beautiful.
So, Lord, I just hope that you will come in and bless this time. I hope that we inspired people to talk about things, to question maybe why do I believe what I believe, what is right, what is wrong, how did I come to that conclusion in the first place? Was it told to me, or do I actually think that? So, Lord, I just pray that you would give us some clarity and new ideas for content. I pray that the messages that come in following this podcast would give us an opportunity to reach a higher level of diversity, to have that constructive conversation relating to one another. And most of all, God, I pray that more people just come to know you through this and because of this. So, God, just have your way with it. Thanks for letting me be a part of it. I pray that you would bless us and just, I don't know, have your way with it. You know what's best. Thanks for letting me do this. Amen.
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 Amen. And everybody make sure that you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for swinging by. Yeah, it's all good. Peace out.
Bye. Okay.
Bye.